everyone. Welcome to the Village of Washingtonville regular board meeting. Today is December 21st. If we could all please rise, the Girl Scouts will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'd like to have a moment of silence for two members of the village who passed away the past couple of weeks. Marge Dalladar was mayor of the Village of Washingtonville back in the 1990s.
Yeah, 91, 92.
91, 92.
Up until 94.
And Harry Ruzzi, who just passed away a couple of days ago, he was a member of the village board, I believe, and the zoning board of appeals.
Right.
So, ladies, pledge.
Want to go up front?
Yeah, go for
Front?
it. Go up in front of the table. Face the flag. And start.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yeah, the Girl Scouts want to leave at this time. I'll walk you out
Thank you.
outside. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
spending time with us tonight.
Thank you. All right, girls, up and say thank you.
Thank you.
And I think there's no homework tonight.
No.
If you have my card, right? You could turn that in.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you
very much.
everybody.
Ready for color?
Thank you, everyone. A few announcements. FEMA has designated the Village of Washingtonville Village Hall to set up operations for individual assistance for the victims of Hurricane Ida. They will be here January 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the hours of 10 in the morning to 6 p.m. I will be notifying everyone who submitted their claims to me. I forwarded them on to Orange County. FEMA has designated Orange County. It took longer than expected, but we got there anyway. So that's going to be the 3rd through the 5th. I'll be having my third phone meeting with FEMA tomorrow regarding the work on Woodfield, McLaughlin Way, Waterford Circle, and Bull Road, the culvert. I will be sending out correspondence to the residents of those streets, as well as the Washingtonville Central School District, informing them of the time schedule of work to be performed in the relocation of the sewer main, the water main, the gas main, and finally the replacement of the culvert. I would also be sending out correspondence by week's end to the residents of Emerson Drive, who was going to have drainage put in this year, something that they've been requesting for years. This was the year that was going to happen, but as we moved on with actually Bull Road, put everything back. So that will be underway in spring of next year. We're going to start reading the water meters once again on January 3rd. The reason we want to give residents enough time to pay their bill before it's re-levied to the taxes. So the due date, we're looking in the middle of February. Also, I received a phone call today from Assemblyman Schmidt. I have a meeting on Thursday with Horizon Medical. They're looking for a site to do COVID testing. So we're looking at Village Hall here on probably the Monday after Christmas, or Vern Allen Park. Both of them have easy access. I don't know about the,
I'm sorry, is it an indoor or outdoor event?
it's gonna be outdoor. I don't know about the traffic, so Chief, I'd like you to be part of that meeting on Thursday, if you're available. Other than that, I think, unless you have any, we could move on to, we have 7:15, so we have 5 minutes really before we can start the public hearing on the water restructure. In front of you, we have election notice. This was forwarded to me today. Please take notice that the general village election for the village of Washingtonville shall be held on Tuesday, March 15th, 2022, at the single village-wide election district polling place located at Village Hall, 9 Fairlawn Drive, Washingtonville, New York. The polls will open from 12 noon to 9 p.m. The following persons are appointed as inspectors for the village election: Beth Martin, Linda Amato, Barbara Beckett, and Russell Halleck. These are the same 4 people who were here last year during COVID, so I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Maybe pen? I don't know where my pen is. I think one of them took my pen.
I'll second.
Trustee Cohen. Seconded by trustee. Okay, roll call, trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Kolar.
Yes.
We have 7:15, we'll start the public hearing on the water sewer facility rates by Delaware. If you look at item number 3, rescind local law number 6, readoption, that's the law of the cannabis law, okay, that we did pass. We're going to label it local law number 1. Then we will be sending, I'll be driving them up to Albany on Tuesday of next week. So someone want to make a motion to re-adopt that?
So it's just going to be adopted as intermediate.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Kolar,
Yes.
trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Readoption of local law number 2. That was the fire hydrant law.
I'll make a motion on that one.
Trustee Kolar,
Second.
second. Trustee Kolar. Readoption number 5.
I gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Kolar,
Yes.
trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Mayor Bucko. Okay, number 5, it should read local law number 5, readoption previously held local law will be number 3. And that is rental registry.
So it says local number 5 reduction, local law
Yeah.
number 5, so it should be local law number 3.
Number 3, yes. Need a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Trustee Kolar,
Yes.
trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Rescind local law number 7, readopted as local law number 4. that is the open burning.
Make the motion?
Second.
Trustee Kolar,
Yes.
trustee Kolar.
Yes.
Mayor Buckeye, yes. It is 7:14. Could all get up and stretch.
Is it gonna be a bounty on whether to present?
I think so. Because I just took yours, so I'm saying it'll be 50. Okay, 7:15, public hearing for our restructuring of water sewer facility rates by Delaware Engineering, led by Tracy Leonard.
I think you can put that on full screen somewhere, so you don't see the tiny ones. It'll be bigger. Where do we go for that?
Usually at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the
screen.
bottom.
A little left, a little bit.
What's that?
Bottom.
Two.
Right there, yep.
Right, that
Right
one.
there?
Or maybe the next one. All right.
No?
One more.
One more.
Hey,
Yay! It's on there somewhere.
I only wish I had it now, so I could
It
mess
just-
with you right now.
We'll be shopping at Macy's.
We'll get you one, chief.
I'll put it around.
Okay?
The floor is yours, thank you.
Thanks. So we're going to talk tonight about water and sewer rate restructuring, and I want to emphasize that we're talking tonight specifically about the new process that would be adopted if it's approved by the board as a new local law to replace the older local law on sewer and water rates that's on the books now. That last was amended in 1996. Are you driving or should I drive?
I could,
Okay, next
He's
one.
distracted, sorry.
how did I
Okay,
do so far? You didn't go.
click. What is it, click? Okay. So why is the village doing this now? Water and sewer are village benefits that, public benefits that the village supplies to the community. Water supply is very important for residences, for medical facilities, for businesses, for visitors coming in the area, that you have enough water to supply your community. And obviously wastewater needs, you need to take care of the water that you use in a way that benefits the natural resources, a healthy community, well-being for community. Some places have problems with wastewater in that they don't have enough capacity. They can't grow their community. So these are infrastructure that is very important to the village. Capacity and quality of these systems are important to the village's ability to sustain itself and to grow. They each have needs. Infrastructure is large, maintenance is important, thinking ahead, planning ahead for upgrades when things are needed is important. Water and sewer are two different separate facilities. They have different pipe systems. They have their own needs, and it's important that the village be able to raise revenue. People that are using water and sewer services need to be paying enough to keep up with the budgets and the maintenance needs so that the village isn't covering those costs out of the general fund. Delaware Engineering worked on a water and sewer infrastructure master plan for the village in 2020, and those were some of the recommendations that came out of this. Click. Okay, so now water rates are structured according to Village Law, Chapter 169. Water rents are paid by 1,000 gallons with a minimum charge. You're billed quarterly on metered water use where there are meters. It's interesting to note that In 1990, the rate was $2 per 1,000 gallons, and in 2021, it was $3.50 per 1,000 gallons. So costs for infrastructure and chemicals and personnel and all those things have increased, but not so much the rates. Click.
You go beat.
Beep? No, I don't want to beep. Similarly with sewer rates are structured under Chapter 140. That was last amended in 1998. Sewer rates are currently based on consumption of water or the water bill at 150% of the water bill. And in some sense that makes sense because sewer is often more costly. However, because those two rates are connected to each other by that simple multiplier, it's really difficult to come up with the budget and the rates that's going to meet the budgetary needs of each of these two individual systems. And additionally, there will be a new capital improvement cost coming up in 2022. The village has debt service costs due to the wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Next slide, please. So, for new rates, the structure is going to be changed in that the budgets will no longer be connected, the billing rates will no longer be connected by that simple multiplier. Whatever your cost per 1,000 gallons of water is currently multiplied by 1.5 to get to your sewer bill. We'll be separating those. Budgets are written on what you call operation and maintenance, or O&M. That's your day-to-day stuff, your personnel, what you need to pay your people to be running the plant, chemical costs, electricity, and different costs of that type, and things that need to be replaced on a regular basis, smaller things. And then the debt budget or capital improvement budget are those costs that are related to things that are much larger expenditures that have to do with the longevity of your infrastructure and its ability to keep running. Different components have different what you call service lives, and that could be a 10-year service life or a 40-year service life. So it's important to be thinking ahead of what you're going to have to replace when. Let's see. So to keep them separate, we have an operation and maintenance budget for the water facilities and collection system, and an operation and maintenance budget for the sewer system and collection system. So those are the costs that each incurs because they're different people, they're different, maybe not, different buildings and different piping systems. And the debt is related to the capital improvement costs of each system separately. So we're going to base the water rent on water consumption per 1,000 gallons or K-gallons. And the debt service is going to be charged according to units that are assigned to be multiplied by a facility charge. Currently, this is how the basis of the facility charges is run. A residence, for example, is 1. A single-family home is like the base uses charge at 1. Currently, there's different units assigned for commercials or larger residentials. Some of those properties or for different uses, commercials mostly, are also based on the assessed value of the property. That's not really related to the benefit of the service. So we've changed those, we've taken them units away from assessed value and assigned units. And similarly with the sewer, it's the same process to come up with the costs and the facility charges for sewer, but they're kept separately. Next slide, please. Okay, this is really hard to read, I'm sorry. It's an example of the new schedule for facility charge units.
Is there a way I can make it larger?
I think there might be.
Are there handouts, Joe?
Excuse me?
Are there handouts?
Not for this one.
The last meeting they were here, Tom.
Yeah.
Is it the same one? I could make copies.
You want that one?
Yeah.
You can make copies of that.
Is it on this one?
No, it's the same thing. That's the one I brought last time. Okay. Basically, we'll get you some copies. Basically, this is, now I gave him mine, I don't have mine. So, okay, on the right side you have property types. government facilities, residential homes, single-family homes, two-family homes, three-family homes, apartments, hotels, diners, bars, car washes, parking garages, large retail, truck terminals, and that goes down on the right side. In the middle is the property class code that the tax assessor uses around the country to explain what that use is. And we're basing this, again, on benefit. So we're using single-family home as the base benefit. Everybody who lives at their home, it's their residence. You use water for drinking, for washing, for cooking, for cleaning, watering your lawn, and sewer. It's necessary to get rid of those wastes once that water has been used. And that's all tied up in the fact that you're living in this residence. So that would be 1 unit per single-family home. Homes with apartments would have 1.5 units because it's a little more than a 1-family unit. 3-family homes get 3 points, or 3 units. And then it goes up into some of the commercial uses. For example, restaurants and fast food, they use a lot of water. You have to clean your dishes, you're cooking, you're continually cleaning the kitchen, and that's really important to be able to run your business. So they're getting an actual benefit that's more than just living. So that's how units are assigned. This chart over here on the left is a comparison of what these charges are going to be for facility charges. So water and sewer for the current $15 per unit per quarter comes out to an annual charge of $60 for the average single-family home for both water and sewer. And that has not been making the debt service charges that the village incurs for both water and sewer. The next line where it says existing units, that's where if we took the units that are currently assigned to each parcel and used the separate budgets, that's what we would be getting. The charge for facility for the year for water would be $45.62, and for sewer would be $24.24. The next one down is using the new units. So the new units and the existing budget would be a slight decrease in the cost per year for facility charges for water, and a slight decrease in the annual charge for sewer. The last line is that same new units, the new process, but adding the sewer debt, which is going to begin in 2022. So you can see that where the process is, costs come out to be basically about the same, a little bit more maybe than the $60 per year for facility charge, but starting the new debt service in 2022, that's going to be another $100 a year per 1 unit, per unit.
Question?
Yeah.
So, like the last line, and I'm just thinking of commercial or whatever,
Mhm.
it says new unit, sewer debt, right?
Yeah.
So if I have a restaurant, I could be charged 4 units, is that 121 times 4?
For the annual cost. So on a quarterly basis, you would be,
So that's
if
per
that was your.
1 unit,
Yeah, that's the
depending
cost
on the
per 1
business unit? Okay.
Yeah, and again, this is all based on, all of these examples are based on a single-family home. There are going to be changes, because you bring that up, in commercial properties. There are going to be changes that are not apples to apples, that you can't put in a chart like this, because you were before being charged debt service, a facility charge, based on your assessed value, whatever that parcel was. That doesn't make sense to how much water or sewer you use, so that's going away. That assessed value part is not going to be part of that cost anymore. So the process is changing, and it's more, it's easier to understand, it's laid out.
It's
it has
just
to
not a
do
flat
with
$15
benefit.
fee.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, just not, it's not a flat $15 fee.
No. It's actually based on the debt service that the village owes for wastewater.
And that
And
debt service that we
water
saw
separately.
before was annual, correct? It was like
Yes.
300,000-ish? 370, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, the
previous slide?
Maybe a couple
Which-
before.
370, right? Around there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the previous
was for
slide
sewer.
has,
right, for
Did I go to
sewer.
this?
yeah.
And that is what, 30 years? Or 40? What'd you guys take the loan out for?
No, it's not, it's definitely not
It's not
40.
40.
Okay. It's not 20 though either, if I remember.
No.
So I think it was
Yeah, it's
30.
Okay. And let's see, where's the next slide?
Hopefully.
There it
we
is,
could-
370.
Yeah,
We could pay off the bond sooner within our lifetime.
So,
okay,
I think she did it.
yeah, two more. And that's, I guess, close to the end there.
whoa.
It's different here, you know, this is the schools, and it's based on students.
Yeah, and for example, one of the changes, commercials are all taken off of assessed value. The school was also changed to be based on the number of students. And you should note that these are things that, if it's not working out for the village with these exact units, then it's something in another couple of years, you can just, you've already got the process, you've got the schedule, you can say, well, we really need to change this because we're not recouping according to the benefit.
What's a good period? What, every year, or review it every year, every
Well,
2 years, 3 years?
Basically, you would want to be looking at this every year. You know, you've got, with this schedule set the way it is, you don't ever have to change the units that are assigned if it's working for you. But every year, you would be taking, what are my costs? What are my expenses for operation and maintenance for water and sewer? And do the division, like, you know, I gave you the sheet, and we were talking about that. You have the total number of water usage gallons that's billed, total number of gallons. You've got your budget for operation and maintenance, cost per operation and maintenance divided by how many gallons are used. That gives you the cost per 1,000 gallons for water. Sewer, you do the same thing. For its own operation and maintenance budget, for, you know, you're basing your sewer use on how much water was metered in each property, because it's the best estimate you have. You don't have separate sewer meters. You got water coming in, you don't have water coming out.
Well,
Generally, it's the same.
Well, just the flows at the plant,
Yeah,
you measure that.
yeah, but that doesn't help for what your bill is, you know? So,
No.
so in
No,
order,
because
in
the
order
sewer
to
at the
estimate,
plant could be I-9 also.
yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah.
And you're not capturing, obviously, watering your lawns and other things like that, washing your cars.
Mhm.
So
So
there'll be,
basically, it's the
there'll
water
be a
used.
difference there.
Yeah, you got the budget for operation and maintenance divided by the water used, that's your cost per 1,000 gallon. And then whatever each customer is using, that's what they pay for. We're keeping the same 7,000 gallons minimum for each quarter billing. So if you use less than 7,000 gallons, you're still gonna be paying that minimum. The average turned out to be something like 14,000. And that's what anything that I put up there for cost is based on, is just
It's-
the average use.
What was the calculation then for minimum with the new,
It turns out to be about 7,000 gallons, based on the total usage.
yeah, but dollar amount?
Oh, dollar amount,
I think it's coming in the next slide.
Minimum,
Might
old,
be.
minimum, new. Do we have a comparison chart?
I think that's the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can finish, we can,
You have it in your.
I do,
pretty tough to read.
It should be in there.
Personally, I thought it, if I remember.
It's one page, it's like, I heard it.
I don't remember exactly, but it was in the handout from last time. I'm pretty sure.
on the report maybe, let's see. No, I've got the cost based on the average, single-family home average water use. I don't have a calculation in this chart for minimum. So if your minimum is 7,000 gallons, and your water rate would be going to 377, you know, it's math. It's a little bit more per kilogallon than previously, same for sewer.
Right, so instead of 350, Tom, it's 370,
377,
377.
yeah,
Per quarter?
Per gallon.
Per gallon.
per 1,000
1,000.
gallons, yeah. I think it's
But the big adjustment is going to be the,
The
cost of
jet.
The facility.
Facility.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Just one other question, if a school has, say, for example, 1,000 students, that's gonna be 50 units divided by 20?
By 12,
Oh, 12?
yeah.
Oh. 12 is 12 students is what you're using for the units.
Yeah, and again, that's an estimate, you don't have to be changing that every year. If you've got, sometimes you get classes going in and out that are bigger or larger, see how that's working for you. If you adopt this process, it would be written into the local law that instead of, there's a couple of paragraphs in there that talk about how many units are assigned, and it's just a narrative in a couple of bullet kind of things. You would be adopting this table. And then every year, you don't need to put the rates, you can put the starting rates in your local law if you so choose, and then you would say, on an annual basis, the board will look at the budgets for operation and maintenance and capital costs and recalculate a rate every year. So that way you don't have to change your local law every year. It's a resolution on your budget, basically. Then, if there's a problem with, if the units assigned on some of these are just not working for you, you would go through the process to change your local law and make an amendment to the number of units. The vast majority of parcels in the community are residential.
Do we have a breakdown of residential versus commercial when you did this?
Yeah, I did. It's in the report. Was the report posted at all, or is that available?
I didn't post it, no.
Okay. Yeah, I had that broken down.
I always thought we were always talking like 1,800 homes, but I don't know if that
I think that
included
included everything.
everything.
Schools.
That was facility charges or meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the meters, right.
So that would include
It
everything.
was 370, because I just
I
took
had
that
it, yeah.
121, right, that'll be for one unit, right, 121 a year for debt services.
For sewer.
Right, and I come up with like 221,000, so that, assuming then
Okay,
commercial units will be higher
Yeah.
to make that difference between 370
right,
and
the
221.
total, okay, connections is about 1,788. That's all residential and commercial.
1,000.
Connections, customers. The total number of units, if you assign units to all those parcels and add them up, it's 2,871.
Okay, 2,000.
So that's the difference there. I know I had that somewhere in here, but yeah, the vast majority of properties are residential.
So 1,788 connections we have right now.
Yeah,
Be 2,871 units attached to that.
2,871 units attached to those.
Yeah, that
That's
brings in
for
about-
sewer.
Yes.
350